Hi guys, have you ever wondered how it would be to work for a YouTuber? Well, in this video you'll find out, as my guest is the marketing and sales lead at Austrian company Novritsch. Starting as a YouTube channel where the founder was making videos while playing Airsoft, now he developed into a company of 40 people shipping products worldwide.
I studied at the University of Vienna, international marketing. I finished my master's degree over there. And then I was working for 3 different companies, which are worth mentioning. It's the Škoda Auto in Czech Republic, in Steuerung der Regierung Russland. Then I was working for Bosch in International Simultaneous Engineering Center, and finally in Volkswagen in Wolfsburg in purchasing. Yeah, that was an interesting project, and I cannot really talk about it much. I cannot tell you which company or what happened, but I was doing an analysis. We had a problem with the supplier. I was making an analysis, and basically it saved us several millions of euros for the company. It was interesting, new experience. I was learning a lot, and it was cool. I always try to gather as much as I can, really, from all the areas. So every time I get something new, that's cool, and I enjoy it. I guess it's the leadership style. I was working, especially Volkswagen was very interesting because I was in the same building as the Vorstand, the board of directors, and I really learned a lot how leadership can work, that it can be friendly even in such a huge company, how my boss was treating the team, treating me. I think these interpersonal relationships, that's probably the most valuable thing. Because in the end you can learn everything, like accounting, counting numbers, I don't know, writing sales text, you can learn that. But you need somebody to show you how to lead people, and I think that's very interesting, at least to me personally. So Novritsch Trading GmbH, the company started as a YouTube channel actually. The boss, my boss, Chris, he thought it's cool to make airsoft videos. You know, what is airsoft? You are basically running on the field with toy guns, and you get to shoot your friends without hurting them, and it's this action movie type of vibe, and it's really cool for some people. And yeah, he started a YouTube channel. He was recording his gameplays, and it exploded through the roof because nobody was doing that, and people just like watching the experience. They watch real world, action movie because it looks like an action movie. So he got a lot of subscribers, and from that they were like, okay, we can make a business out of this. And they flew to China and Taiwan and Asia in general, and they were looking for factories for manufacturing partners. Then they found one. They made the first few hundred guns, and again, it skyrocketed. It was sold within, I believe, 2 or 3 hours, the whole batch done. And yeah, that was the start of Novritsch, and now we are 40 people, close to 40 people at this moment. And we keep growing even during Corona. So that's cool. So the whole company is close to 40 people. I actually don't know because we keep hiring, and I'm just not up to date with who was hired recently. Today I stopped at the textile department and there was a new guy sitting. So I don't really know, close to 40 people. So we have different departments. We have textile department, we have gun development, another gun development, we have accounting, HR, marketing, that's me. Then we have customer relations team and repairs. Then we have people in Asia who communicate with the factories. Yeah, maybe I forgot something, but probably not. Everything is in Asia. Airsoft started actually in Japan, like 50 years ago. That's when the sport was born. And so far, 99% of everything is being produced in Asia. What's our biggest advantage is that we are airsoft players. I've been playing airsoft for 13 years. The same goes for Chris, who is the CEO. The same goes for developers. we are just airsoft enthusiasts and we know what we need and we just build it to our specifications, and then the end customers can take it and it will be what they actually need. So that's our biggest advantage. We are users and producers and everything together. I mean, there is of course good companies, like they know what they're doing, but so far the industry standard is, so let's say you get a rifle, you want to use it, there you go, change this, change that, change that, change that, and then maybe it will work. So far that's the industry standard, and that's why that's what we are trying to get rid of. We want people to take the rifle or the gear, and it can be anything. We want the people to take the stuff out of the box, put it on, take it in your hands and use it on the field without worrying about the stuff breaking, not working, not being compatible, because we do this for them. So that's also, if you look at our web shop, novritsch.com, you don't see too many options of the same thing, because we scan the whole market, we look at the options, we buy them all, and we pick the best one. If we cannot find the best one, we just make it. So one day I was coming from Volkswagen, at the time I was still in Volkswagen, and I came home and I had stuff to do, and I saw this ad, on Facebook. It was in a group, Airsoft Players Austria, something like that. And I saw that they are looking for people, and back then, that's 2 years ago, over 2 years ago actually, 2.5 almost. The company was still being perceived as this one guy who's making videos in his bedroom. We all knew him because he was famous, he still is famous, everybody knows us. But back then it was just him, or it seemed like it's just him to the outside. And then I saw that they're looking for people. There was a picture of an actual team, which was like 8 people. I think it was 10 people in the picture. And I'm like, they're looking for employees. And I'm like, that's not for me. But on the other hand, I started thinking, and I'm like, I've been playing Airsoft for 13 years, so it's cool. It would be cool to do something that you like. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna apply. But you have to still think, I was working at Volkswagen and I was applying for a startup, not even a startup. It looked like one guy business really. And it seemed ridiculous at the beginning to even consider this. But again, I was like, hey, I love Airsoft, I want to do it. So I applied, then we had 2 calls, then I stopped by and I got hired on the spot and I went with it. And it turned out to be a good decision in the end. I didn't really apply for any specific position because there were like different ones, and yeah, I don't even remember. I didn't apply for a specific position if I remember correctly. But I sent a CV, and 2 weeks after I received a reply from Claudia, and then I had an interview with Chris, who's the CEO or the founder, however you want to call it. And the first question was, so have you ever played Airsoft? And I'm like, did you read my application? Because I wrote it there that I've been playing for 12 years back then, or 11, I don't know. And oh yeah, okay. And then we just continued. That was just a funny beginning, and then we just talked for, I guess, 2 hours in the first call, and 1 or 2 hours again in the second, and then I stopped by at the office in Vienna, and then we had a trial day, so I was working with them for a day, and at the end of the day, there we go. Because I'm a copy of Chris. Because at the beginning, so I've been playing for the same amount of time. At the time I was making YouTube videos, I was studying marketing, I knew how to tech on guns, I knew how it works, I knew the community. The informal way of everything. Like everything was so casual, and You know, I need to buy something to work. Yeah, go on Amazon, buy it. You know, let's do this, let's do that. We should change this. What do you think about it? Yeah, let's just do it. And we were just doing stuff. And in a big company, you need a paper, to get a permission, to get another paper. I hated that. And this is why I started. And besides, they are just cool guys. We are basically friends. You know, it's a very friendly environment. It's super cool, and I enjoy it to this day. Even though we grew, I don't know all the people anymore, but still, it feels like a bunch of friends and doing cool stuff, and you immediately see the results. So we are like, hey, we need stuff for Black Friday or whatnot. So let's record a video. Chris, do you have time right now? Okay, let's just do it. And in 2 hours, it's on the internet and you are getting feedback from people. That's cool. In Volkswagen, we were buying parts that were to be built in the cars in 6 years. Or 4 or whatever. You never see the result if you are not staying for like 10 years. And you are just like a very tiny part of the whole system. Here you can actually make a difference, and I like that. But with that being said, if you are not available or something, it can also easily break apart. Because you are just so important that at this point, we already can get sick, we can take vacation. But at the beginning, I had like 200 overhours or something, I don't know, 150, and it was just necessary. But that's the way it goes in a startup. You just need to work hard to get things done and get a lot of things done, and then you slowly build up your team and you hire more people, and yeah, I enjoyed the process. That's why I stayed. People who can work alone, you don't need to micromanage them. They come up with ideas. Hey, let's improve that, let's do that. These people are super valuable. And if you can find somebody like this, it doesn't matter that he doesn't know 1 or 2 things from your whole list. Everything can be learned. Everything can be learned, but attitude, you need to bring that with you. So, for example, I hired a guy. He didn't really know exactly, how to do this task or that task. In the trial day, he actually broke one gun that I gave him as a trial task to kind of exchange one small part. And yeah, I don't care. He had a great attitude. He was asking questions. He was, casual yet professional to some degree. And it was just cool to work with him. So I'm like, let's just try it. And he was a great hire. So it's a cool thing, and you get a budget for that. You don't need to pay anything. You get cool stuff coming in. You get to test it. Working for a YouTuber, it's fun. I mean, on the field, like recording it, that's one thing, but then process everything and make some cool content out of it. That's not exactly easy, and it takes a lot of time and also creativity. You need creative people to get the result you are after, because you have to do a lot of takes on the field, you have to redo stuff, and then somebody needs to make sense all of that mess, because especially on the field, you cannot control a lot of variables like other people. When we are playing, you cannot really stage anything. That's how it is. Keeping it together, the whole team. I mean, by now it's 5.5 people. So I have capacities from another member. And yeah, organization. It's mostly organizing everything, making sure that nothing gets forgotten. Black Friday, there is a million pieces that need to be put together, and sometimes my head feels like it's gonna explode, especially when there is like a launch or Black Friday thing. And yeah, keeping all the channels going, making sure we have a plan for videos, making sure that the sales pages work, that they get created, that we don't have products in the warehouse just sitting there, not being available on the website, making sure that the newsletters get out, making sure that the text, the sales copies are good. Yeah, it's a lot of things. We are doing everything in-house, and my job is to make sure that everything gets done, basically. So the strategy, it's mostly focused on the community aspect of the sport, because the idea of airsoft is you have friends, you go out, you play, you have some cool things to talk about, you enjoy the adrenaline, the sport, you are outside, you are running around, you have fun. And we are part of this community, and we are trying to really make sure that this community is growing and that people basically know about us. And we are providing a good product, good value for the money. And we are not really relying on one strategy. We are not relying on paid ads or Facebook or YouTube or this or that. It's all together, because ultimately what matters is the community. And in this case, I can really say we are part of the community, and we are receiving some great feedback, and that's perfect. I think that's the best way, frankly. So how do we collaborate with influencers? It's really most of the biggest ones we know personally. We are basically friends. Of course, there is like a business aspect, relationship, like we are not doing anything for free. You are not doing anything for free. I'm also not doing it for free. But mostly it's a very chilled relationship. It's like, hey man, how are you doing? You know, we have this product. Are you interested in checking it out? He's like, yeah, sure, let's send it over. We send it over. He makes a video. Maybe we have affiliate links, you know, maybe, yeah, some receive money, of course, but it's very chilled. It's, you know, airsoft is, like I said in the previous question, it's a community. Everybody knows everyone. I think that what is very different is that it is our hobby as well. And that's probably it. We enjoy doing what we are doing. Is it really different? I cannot say. But like I said, for most of us, it used to be a hobby before, and we just continue doing it. I guess that's not really the case if you are selling, I don't know, dog food. Probably not the case. So that's probably different. So normal day, I get up at different times. Sometimes it's earlier, sometimes it's later. I hop on my one wheel and I ride 2-3 minutes to work. Then I fist bump everyone. That's actually an interesting thing. In Volkswagen, what I learned, the team leader always goes to everyone and shakes hands or like fist bumps them. And I actually learned that, because for me it was new, like in Czech companies, I'm from Czech Republic, nobody was ever doing that. And there it's like unwritten rule. So when I really didn't do it, because I didn't know back then, they were like looking at me like, what's wrong with you? And then over time I realized it's actually a thing, and then I started understanding it makes a huge difference. For example, when you have like an argument with somebody or something, then at the end of the day, you always shake hands, and the next day you shake hands and everything is fine. So that's what I took from there, and that's what I'm doing. I just go to everyone, fist bump, hey, how are you doing? All good. Just go to my room, make my coffee, and start with whatever needs to get done. Then half an hour later, we have stand-ups. So I have a stand-up with Dominic, who's my boss. It is the most informal stand-up you can imagine. I just go there, sipping coffee. Hey, what's up? What do we do today? Is there something important? No, let's just continue what we need to do. Or we sit for half an hour or maybe even longer if there is something very important, and we just discuss what's on the plate that day. And then I have a stand-up with my team, and I kind of like distribute the task. We say, hey, this needs to be done. I would like to have this done. Do you need help with that? Just general checkup, you know, what's up? And then it just unfolds. Every day is slightly different or very different, depends. Because again, it's a smaller company, a lot is changing, we are moving fast, so every day is different. So within the company, I'm mostly talking to development. You know, what's new, what's coming, when is it coming, do we need to make a plan for it, how are we gonna communicate it? That goes for guns and textile development, which are like gear, pouches, chest rigs, anything. Then it's Dominic, really, like the growth department. And then it's also customer relations, because we need to communicate what they tell the people and what is on the website, and it needs to be aligned. So that's kind of a big deal. You know, if they, for example, if we make a sales page and people don't understand something, it goes directly to customer relations team, and then I need to adapt the page so that we don't receive too many questions that are not necessary because I wrote something wrong or not clear enough. So the biggest issue is that the guns look like guns because they are one-to-one replica, and obviously with all what's happening in the world, it's not the best that it looks like a gun. It's still a toy. It shoots like little plastic BBs and it's completely harmless, or for the most part, if you are wearing like glasses or protection gear. It's just like paintball. If you don't know what airsoft is, it's like paintball. But the guns look realistic, which is cool. It's cool to have something, you know, and have fun with it. But that's one issue. It just looks like a real gun, and the general public is not really, you know, they don't like guns. So we need to somehow communicate, okay, it's fun, it's harmless, but still, it looks like a gun. So that's a big issue. Regulations, it looks like a gun. In some countries, it is treated like a gun, so you cannot just own it. These markets are basically non-existent for us because people cannot buy it. In some countries, we have issues with importing them because customs, you know, they're just people, they don't know the difference. They think it's a gun, it's not a gun. They don't know the exact law or regulation, how to do it. So sometimes they just misqualify, you know, they just seize it or something. This all can happen, but for the most part, it's okay. But these are, again, it's tied to the fact that it looks like a gun. We are struggling. That was actually my little project. I developed a pistol, SSP-18. I really want to get it out there, but I cannot because the factory just cannot produce enough. So it's been out of stock for months now because people are just like, bam, 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 I'm just gonna get it. And you cannot get it. We cannot. We really want to. We want to give people the option to have this cool gun, but it's just out of stock. When will we reach the capacity? I have no idea. It seems like we cannot. We weren't able to do it in 3 years. I don't know, once we have 10, 20 more products, like flagship products, maybe then, because with each additional product, the demand overall like increases, but for the individual flagships, it slightly decreases. So it can cannibalize a little bit. But maybe if we have 20 flagships, maybe then we will be able to keep them in stock. I guess that's the answer, once we have enough products. Yes, that would be the reasonable step. In most industries, you could do it. You could just go to a different company and say, hey, I need this, just make it. But that's not really how it works in airsoft, because first of all, there is very little companies that produce airsoft guns and gear. That's the first issue. And then you need to have a ton of molds for that particular gun, and that's super expensive to make molds with each company. Very expensive, and then you need to spend years on fine-tuning everything. So that's not really an option, unfortunately. We are working on it, but so far it wasn't a viable option. So we have to go with most of the time one company, and we immediately fill their capacities like that. Software that we use in the company for making the models, it's SolidWorks. And then we are using, like company-wide, we are using Asana, Slack, Notion. For social media, we are using Buffer, Premiere Pro for cutting videos, Photoshop, the whole Adobe package really. And that's the backbone when it comes to software. That's actually the funny thing in my department. It's for actually everybody in the department can do multiple things. I can also cut videos, I can also Photoshop pictures, I can write texts, and I'm trying to teach everybody how to do everything. Because then if somebody is sick, somebody wants holidays, you know, you don't need to be an expert in this. I have an expert for cutting videos, I have an expert for writing text, I have an expert for Photoshop. But everybody can do Photoshop. And if you need something, it's not like, oh, the guy is not here and we cannot do anything. Well, what are we gonna do? Obviously, we need more flagship products, so we are working on that. There is actually too much to do. We cannot just work on everything we would like to do. We have to prioritize based on an educated guess what we think will be the most important or the most selling stuff, really, because this is about selling, really. So we need to kind of scan the market. Hey, what do people want over there? And then we just decide, and this is what it's gonna be. But we can only have so many in the pipeline, and there is way more waiting. That is the product expansion. In terms of like company expansion, we keep hiring. We keep hiring from all over Europe. We have people from Portugal, from Denmark, from the Netherlands, from Sweden, Slovenia, me, Czech Republic, Austria, Slovakia, from all over the world, France as well. So yeah, we keep hiring. That's the expansion. We recently moved to a new, bigger office. We will probably move again soon if we keep growing, or we will split the offices. That's also an option, that we will get just another office. So yeah, that's in terms of people. We are also hiring in Taipei, in Taiwan, and in Asia in general, but I don't know much about that. We already have 2 guys there, but we need more, you know, to do quality control and to communicate with the suppliers, really. We also try to move our office to Asia. So we moved out of Vienna, or at least part of the team. I was also one of them. We flew there, we stayed there for 2 months, we did QC, we worked with the suppliers, and then we came back. That was a really interesting experience. I really liked that. And now we are trying to hire people there because we set up the office and it's been working well. So that's what we want to do. Maybe we will move in the future as well. We should probably set up an office in the US as well, because that's also a big market and we have a warehouse there already. So currently I'm reading a book from Simon Sinek, Leaders Eat Last. That's what I'm currently reading. But what really influenced me the most, I would say, at least in my leadership style, is a book from Ray Dalio, Principles. And I keep repeating that to, you know, when I have these talks, it's really a good book and I like the ideas there. So read it, it's cool.
Thank you for watching. For any suggestions, please leave a comment below. And until next time, read more and invest smart.